sleepover where we talk all the hot topics. Got my girls, we racking up on all knowledge. Relationships, love and fitness, battle of the sexes, and so much more. The sleepover where we talk all the hot topics. Got my girls, we racking up on all knowledge. So hop on a ride, take a seat, because you're in for a big treat. Welcome to the sleepover, yeah. Welcome to the sleepover. Ooh, welcome to the sleepover. Ooh, welcome to the.
Hey y'all, and welcome. I'm your host Charlotte Marie, and this is The Sleepover. We're going to dive in today and talk to you all about our self-love journeys and how to maintain our internal sunshine. So as we jump in, right, would you guys, looking back on your life, ever have said you experienced like an ugly duckling phase?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is someone brave enough to tell us about it?
No. What's the ugly duckling phase?
Tell us. When I said it, you were like, yeah. What were you thinking about?
I'm thinking about like evolution, like evolving within like who I am as a person. Of course, everybody grows, but I'm thinking of like how I once viewed myself and how I view myself now, eternally.
How was that?
I mean, it's beautiful. I'm glad I evolved. I'm glad I look, like better than I was when I was younger. I mean, I'm not gonna say I was ugly, an ugly duckling, but I feel like I definitely have made a lot of changes within myself.
As you should.
Yeah. So what changes did you make?
Physical appearance, of course. I mean, you grow and you just evolve as a person. You're mentally stronger. You're more aware, more assertive of yourself, and just going through the journey of like life, you just see like the growth overall, whether it's physical or internal. You know.
Yeah.
I immediately went to my mental. So I feel like when we're younger, I just feel like our mental is not as developed as it obviously is when we're older. I think about where I am now and just like even things like meditation and things that I do just to keep myself grounded and balanced. And I'm so proud of the journey. I feel like a lot of times when you're in a struggle, because like when I think of my ugly duckling phase, I just think of someone that was sad and down, and I just couldn't rationalize why, right? And I feel like that's normal. Everyone goes through something where it's like you might just feel down on yourself and you don't know why. I think it's important to note like there's not always going to be a why. But seeing myself now be able to pull myself out of these phases and doing like, for me, meditation, I'm really big on meditation. Like that has really helped me, and I really have seen like a difference.
How old were you when you would say you were in that like dark place?
High school, all 4 years of high school, and then college, it was like in and out, and then I guess like around like 24 is like when I kind of started to get like a handle, sort of.
Well, honestly, I would say that the ugly duckling phase doesn't have to be a sad or depressed phase.
Yeah.
I actually feel like that I am in my ugly duckling phase only because I know that this is not my prime. Only because I know that this is not my best self. And as far as me and my community, my LGBT community, I know that I'm at the beginning of who I am supposed to be. So technically, I'm in my ugly duckling phase. I haven't had any surgeries. I'm just now starting. And this is not the best version of myself. But honestly, I don't feel sad. I don't feel sad. I don't feel depressed. I don't feel upset or anything. I think it's just all about progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I had to choose an ugly duckling phase, all right, I'll probably say like early high school. I was like really shy, you know what I mean? Not super confident in like my own skin kind of thing. I feel like now that I'm older, I'm more confident and know how to carry it. But like, it took me some time to grow and meet different friends and stuff like that who were confident in their skin. Like, girl, don't worry about it. You look good. Wear this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And so I think it took a lot. By the time I was probably like a junior, I want to say.
In high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
A junior in high school, I was probably like at the point now where I was starting to feel myself a little bit. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think just for me internally, like I just wanted to change. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I just wanted to change. I wanted to grow. I wanted to be somebody different. You know what I mean? Because to everybody else, I might have seemed stuck up, or I might have seemed, too shy, or Melissa's not outgoing, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But for me, I didn't see myself that way, and I didn't want to be perceived that way also.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I felt like, okay, you know what? I'm I'm finna get out there. I'm finna have some fun. I'm about to do some things. I'm about to get in trouble. You know what I mean? Because those were things that I didn't do. You know, I was so grounded on trying to be this picture perfect person for other people. Right. You know what I mean? And then that was my journey when I started to live for me. You know, from early
That's
age.
huge.
Yes, girl.
That's huge.
Yes, girl.
What insecurities would you say you had back then?
Oh, sheesh, Charlotte. You know, it's tough. I guess I wouldn't say I thought like I was an ugly person or anything like that, but I just thought like, again, I was not confident as far as like, I wasn't as outgoing. I was outgoing as far as like, yo, I'm the homie, right? Had a lot of guy friends, all kinds of things like that. But maybe when it came to maybe talking to boys or something, or, you know, maybe trying to go on a first date or anything like that, or even just putting myself out there that I thought somebody might have looked good, I was like super reserved. Like, you know, I didn't wear short stuff. I stayed pretty covered up, all kinds of things. And a lot of that came from how I grew up, you know what I mean? So I think it had a lot to do with how I started to become as I got older, you know what I mean? Yeah. And by the time I got to college, you know, I was still kind of like, girl, I don't know if I can wear that, you know? Like, and so it's just like, come on, Meleeze, like, just, you know, show a little skin, it's okay, you know, love you, you're a woman, feel that femininity, and, you know, just.
So for those who didn't know you, what was this? You were like, okay, growing up, like, I didn't wear, what was going on? How were you what was your family like? That was.
So, I grew up differently than all my friends did. My dad is from Sudan and stuff like that, so our culture is different, and girls didn't, you know, we weren't, you know, we just didn't show skin. We weren't provocative. We weren't taught to be that way, you know. We were taught to be very reserved, cover up, you know, and when you get older and a man is ready to marry you, that's when, you know, you out of my house, do what you want to do. You know what I mean? But my mom, she's American, you know what I mean? So she has a totally different perception on, like, how to grow up. She's like, well, I was a girl, and that's not how I did things, you know what I mean? I got to live and free and wear a mini skirt when I wanted to and do stuff like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so my mom still wanted me to have that, like, kind of experience a little bit, so she was definitely my go-to, like, you know, just let her go out with her friends, like, just go, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm so thankful for that because, again, I feel like sometimes being so guarded or, like, reserved or whatever can set you back in life, you know what I mean, when you get older, because now you're on your own, you don't know how to act, you know what I mean? And so, because I had my mom, I still was able to kind of experience those things and not have to, as soon as I got out of the house, go back buck wild, you know? So, I'm thankful for the type of parenting I had. Yeah, I had a pretty good balance, I want to say, so. Yeah.
I would say probably high school was high school was rough, y'all. I mean, a lot of people, you know, you get mixed reviews. Some people are like, high school was the best. High school was really rough. I would say, like, my last 2 years when I got more independence, of course that's fun.
It's the best time.
Right? Like, there's definitely, I would say I had a lot of fun in high school. And I think in high school I was really trying to manage all of these messages about who I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to look like, how smart I was supposed to be, where I was supposed to go. And I didn't know how to handle it at all. And it often led to me, like, beating up on myself. So if I think about, quote unquote, and I do the quotes intentionally, right? The ugly duckling phase, or ugly duckling phase, I would definitely say it was that time because I just felt very lost. Right. And I wouldn't have described myself as confident. Yeah. I remember I would go places and they'd ask my friends, like, is she mute? Like, my friends knew I talked. My friends knew I talked, but, like, people I would meet out that I didn't know, I would be very quiet because automatically was like, I don't even know how to act in this situation. I don't even know how to be myself. So that was definitely, like, I think, a time where I felt the most shame.
So where do you feel like you kind of grew out of that?
2 years ago.
Wow. That's real.
I feel you know, that is a learning thing, though, to be confident in your own skin. You know what I mean? Because it starts up here. Yeah. It starts up here, for sure.
Yeah.
Self-love is a big thing.
Yes.
When it comes to the ugly duckling phase, like, having that self-love is very important.
I could talk about self-love all day because it transformed my life so much.
Yeah.
You know, I continue to find myself in these repetitive situations and be like, what is going on? Well, the common denominator is me, but I know I'm trying my best. Yeah. So I had to really sit. And the more I had confidence, the more I loved myself, the less I was in those contentious relationships and situations, right? My finances even started to get better. Just like small things I wouldn't think would be attached to, like, confidence and self-love, for sure.
Mine was the opposite from you, kind of, sort of. Like, I was very confident in high school, and then, like, I had a phase, like, branching off to come to college where it kind of shifted, and I think it's from me dating guys that kind of twists my mental thought of myself.
Yeah.
And then it's like I had to bounce back. So I had a part where I was confident and wasn't so confident, got back confident. And then I faced another issue where I kind of turned it back off. So it was like me playing back and forth with myself.
Do you mind me asking? What were those relationships like that you think caused you or impacted your self-esteem or confidence?
I think it was more so of like the guy just like feeding me information, like just saying certain things that could kind of make me question who I am as a person or my worth or how good I am as a, just whatever. But it's just more so of like when you're young, sometimes little boys can get in your head and you just feel like you're not good enough. And so like just having like repetitive situations that kind of triggers your mindset, it kind of just makes you feel like, okay, am I not good enough, or is something wrong with me? So yeah.
I feel like if you hear something enough times, it low-key becomes your reality. But to that, like when you talk about self-love, like I think about positive affirmations as well. If you say something enough times, it switches your mentality.
Yeah.
So it works both ways. But I didn't learn that until literally like 26, 27. That's when it was just like, okay, if I speak this, it's changing everything.
And I think what's pretty cool too about having this opportunity sitting on the couch, right, is like we were in high school together and we were having this like parallel experience, but I can honestly say I didn't truly understand what she was going through. And I don't think she truly understood what I was going through. And so I think a lot of times we suffer in silence because it's like I don't even know if I have the words to communicate.
And you're talking, and just like so people understand, you're talking about like best friends. It's not like we were acquaintances. And this is like the idea of that parallel, not truly knowing.
Like how to get that support. You know, and feeling misunderstood or feeling like, hey, I don't know how to share this, and will someone understand me? You know? So how did you guys rely on your friends during this?
No.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I definitely did. Only because I don't have family, so I don't have parents, and my family is not as supportive as I would like. So honestly and truthfully, when I went through that phase of the ugly duckling phase, or questioning who I was as a person, or even just finding a way to have self-love for myself, I depended a lot on my friends because honestly and truthfully, sometimes the perspective of others can uplift you. And I think that without my friends, I don't think that I would be able to move in the direction that I was going, or what the direction I was meant to go in. Because honestly and truthfully, when I look in the mirror, I'm my own worst critic. And there are certain things that my friends see that I don't see. And I think it just goes far beyond just friends, because honestly, a support system is a really big thing when it comes to self-love. Because those moments that you feel down, those moments where you feel like you're alone, it's the people that you keep around you that helps you get through those moments. And for me, I think that self-love is a big thing. You have to have self-love, especially being trans. You have to have self-love. And honestly and truthfully, I think with me personally, I had to come to a point where I had to accept who I was and know that this person that I am now wasn't going to be forever.
So for parents whose child is having similar experiences to you, how would you suggest they support their kid?
I think that just have an open heart. I mean, that's one thing that my parents didn't have. They didn't have an open heart. And, I don't hate them or anything. I just kind of have to accept people for who they are, take situations for what it is, and move on. But if I had to give the advice to another parent, I would say, be open-minded. Be willing to educate yourself, listen to your child, and accept who they are as an individual, and remember that we are all people. And I think that a lot of people forget that. Because our lifestyles don't align, or our views don't align with someone else, that doesn't mean that how we feel or how we think that our life's supposed to go or who we are as individuals is any less than. So that would be honestly my only advice, because I wish that was the advice I could have gave my parents, because they weren't open-minded.
Can I ask a question, if you don't mind? When you open up to your parents, was it more so of you just letting them know what it was and trying to get them to understand and trying to like pour out, like, I'm not saying you did anything wrong at all, because I really don't think you did, but like, how did you move forward after actually telling them? Like, how did that process go?
Okay, so let me just tell y'all a quick little story about how my parents found out. So when I came out as a gay man, I never came out because I was one of those people that felt like, why state the obvious? I didn't feel like that I needed to come out because you already knew who I was. I was just being me. I didn't feel like that I had to reintroduce myself as something else, because honestly and truthfully, I was just being myself. So when I'm gonna just say when my mother found out, my mother actually found out that I had a boyfriend. This was in college. She actually found out I had a boyfriend, and her response was, she decided to go on social media and she went on a rampage. She went on a rampage, and my mother actually told me that she hoped I catch AIDS and die. That was something that I personally, even to this day, you know, I can't move past that. I accept her for who she is. I forgive her. But at the same time, one thing that I just do not play with is wishing death on someone. Because one thing I know is that time is the one thing that you cannot get back. And I think that that's very important as well. Now, when it came to me being trans, when I decided to transition, I actually transitioned for about 9 months before I ever told anyone. Due to the fact of how my situation was when my parents found out that I was gay. So I decided to transition in secret for 9 months, and then I decided that the best way for me, honestly and truthfully, my supporters was people I didn't know.
I can see that.
It was the people I didn't know. I live my life on YouTube and social media, so my friends were the people I follow, and the people that followed me, those were my friends. So I felt like that the only people I owed it to come out as trans were the people that followed me, because we're friends. So I came out as trans on YouTube. I posted a video, and instead of me telling my family, I shared the video to them
on Facebook.
I shared it to them in the text message on Facebook, however that they were going to see it. And throughout my process, what a lot of people didn't know I was doing, I was vlogging every time I had a mental breakdown. If you saw my video, I cried, I begged and pleaded, I asked myself, like, why was it me? Like, because one of the biggest things that I sit and I ask myself all the time is like, why me? Because of the simple fact that this is who I was supposed to be. So why do I have to be the person to go through this in order to be the person that I'm supposed to be? And honestly and truthfully, when that situation happened for me, I was transitioning and I didn't have anybody. Like, I didn't have nobody. I didn't have no friends. I didn't have no family. I didn't have anybody. And I sat there for 9 months by myself. And honestly and truthfully, that is the advice that I would give to a parent, because honestly, it is very lonely. It's super lonely. And honestly, like, if I could go back, I really wish that I had my parents for that. But it's not like that. But honestly and truthfully, that's why I enjoy and I cherish my friendships, because my friends became my family. So me having self-love for myself was something that I had to gain regardless. Because if I didn't have anybody else, I knew I had myself.
Right.
So it was just like one of those type of situations. It was a really messed up situation. And, you know, even to this day, like, when I started transition, I don't speak to my family. Even to this day, I don't speak to anybody.
At all? Like,
no.
But, you know, the fact that you have somebody in your corner, your friends and stuff like that, even the people that you speak to on the internet or whatever the case is, right? It's just as important, you know what I'm saying? It's just as important to have, support, regardless of where you get it from, you know what I mean? Because sometimes our best support are the people that are not closest to us, you know what I mean? So, so for you to be able to come out like that, and I'm sure you received so much positivity from that, that's all you needed.
And the crazy thing about it is, when I decided to come out that way, I had so many parents DM me and tell me, like, how do I respond to this?
Yeah.
My child is going through the same thing. How do I respond to this?
Yeah.
And honestly, the only thing that I can say is love them.
Yeah.
Just love them, because that's the only thing that can help a person get through something. Is love. But honestly and truthfully, I have this saying that, I don't trust people that well or easily. So, that saying where they say blood is thicker than water? I personally switched that, because I know that water was there for me when blood wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like, honestly and truthfully, like, I think that people need to learn how to be more open-minded, more accepting, and learn how to love other people. Because at the same time, like, we're all people. And, like, I have to fight every day for a whole bunch of other things. And then, like, to be let alone, I have to fight to be accepted as a woman. Because now I'm no longer a man. I'm no longer a gay man. Because you face issues being a gay man, but then you face even more issues, because now I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, because now I'm something that nobody can explain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I can't even imagine how difficult that is. And it seems like you've been able...
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. Like,
it seems like through the hardship, you've still been able to, like, find a way how to love yourself. And I think that's something that so many people can learn from.
And
you've inspired
Yeah.
so many people. Like, when you said, why me? Like, what I'm thinking is, like, when you said you posted that video and you had parents coming to you, it's because you're able to be a light for other people. And, like, we talked about a little bit before, like, all you have to do is inspire one people, and you've already done that. You're inspiring so many people, and that's such an important job. So when you go through these moments, like, keep in mind, like, you are so much light for so many people. You are so important. You matter, and this is important.
Even your ability to share a story, right?
Yes.
A lot of people shy away from it.
This is literally the second time me ever speaking about this. Because it's a really hard thing to talk about, because it's just like, it's hard for someone to ask someone to understand. It's a lot, and it's a lot to take in. And honestly and truthfully, it's my situation, and I can't, like, put it off on anybody, so I really don't talk about it that much.
But you brought up something earlier about forgiving your parents and stuff like that for just for not understanding, because that probably was a really hard thing for them to grasp, and they just didn't know how to go about it, and they probably went about it the wrong way, right? But for you to dig deep in your heart and to forgive them healed you. You know what I mean? It's a part of you were able to move on and still live your life and be happy and just continue to just feel good about yourself, because again, that's part of that self-love. You know what I mean? You have to be able, if you keep holding on to stuff that's bringing you down, you can't heal. You can't heal. And it's so like, you could be sitting here in a slump and still being insecure and staying by yourself and not being involved, not having your YouTube, none of that. You know what I mean? Because you didn't let it bring you down. And again, I think people need to learn how to just, I don't gotta forget, but forgiving is for me. It's not
it's not about the other people.
That's the only reason I forgave.
Yeah.
And honestly and truthfully, it took me a very long time to understand that forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for myself. And actually, I learned that from a friend. Because for so long, I found myself being the angry woman. I used to be so angry when I used to feel like someone they could say something and they didn't mean no harm. And I felt like it was an attack. But then I had to really think back and dig deeper of why I felt that way.
That's growth.
And it was just honestly and truthfully, like, I wanted to I love myself unconditionally and I'm unapologetically myself. And the only way I was going to get there is to have self-love for myself and to forgive everyone that hurt me for me.
I love adding this idea of, like, self-love. It really is this practice of healing, right? And doing it intentionally. Because I also know, like, when I hear a lot of us, like, we started this self-love journey after going through difficult shit, right? Whether it was relationships or high school or family. Yeah. So it's like self-love is the actual practice of healing and moving through.
Yeah. It wasn't easy. Like, I feel like you were like my best friend. Mm-hmm. You weren't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I felt like I was not being heard, and I felt like I was not important to you.
You're okay. And you got it. I didn't know what was going on at all, so it was like, okay. And me and my mother talked, and she was like, give her space.
We were about to put our hands on each other.
You can't, like she said, you can't keep pushing that on them, right? Because it's only going to want to pull that person further away.
Welcome to the sleepover, yeah. Welcome to the sleepover. Ooh, welcome to the sleepover. Ooh, welcome to the sleepover, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the sleepover.